how do you propose this is going to happen? How do you engage the citizenry? But beyond the social network, this is for the hearts and minds of the people. How do you do that?
Well, in terms of moving forward, we have a couple of choices. One is a grassroots approach, which is a mass movement effort in similar fashion to the way AARP has managed their agenda, or the Taxed Enough Already Party has managed their agenda. Grassroots people, when they get it, they can get organized very quickly and move forward. The other approach is to rely on the elites of society to do what's in everybody's best interest. I frankly reject that approach because elites tend to work for what's in the elite's interest regardless of what happens to the larger society. So I think as we get the information into the hands of people at all levels, I think of it as everybody uses electricity and everybody buys gas. Not everybody votes, but everybody uses energy. And when they have shortages of energy or they're paying an excessive price for energy, they care, and it matters. And so I think the way of galvanizing the American people is to offer a solution to high energy prices, and when energy gets scarce, how do we create more energy?
How does the oil industry or the energy industry overcome the credibility issue that is bound to it, whether it comes out of the politicians or whatever it arises from? How do you get the American public to believe the industry's needs and accept the industry's needs? And how do you balance the industry against the environment? How do you reconcile those?
There's a very big issue in terms of credibility and trust between the American people and the industry that brings them energy, whether that's electrical energy or whether that's liquid energy. So the companies have a duty and a responsibility that if they want to be part of the 21st century energy system in a way in which they can work cooperatively with the citizens who are now so much more informed and so much more involved, they'd better get involved themselves. And I think they would be willing to, because we could overcome the adversarial relationship that exists with what? With dialogue, with engagement, with cooperative efforts. And in a state like Texas, I think there's a pretty good model in a state like Texas for how the industry and society works pretty well together, or Louisiana. It's in some states that are energy poor or energy scarce where the greatest hostility exists, but yet everybody needs energy. So I think the energy companies have a duty and a responsibility to get out there. And whether it's through their website or whether it's through personal appearances, they have to be more open, they have to be more transparent, and more engaging with the public.
And do you think that, you obviously think that's possible?
If they see a tidal wave of public interest coming their way, and they start getting requests for engagement from Citizens for Affordable Energy chapters all over the country, they're going to have to respond, because they can't not respond. These are the people that buy their products. These are the people that care. These are the people that could, be influential in setting the public policy going forward by who they choose to represent them. So there would be a compatibility of interest which hasn't existed before.
When you talked about the design life cycle of the various plants, or the nuclear coal or whatever, why are they designed in a 40-year cycle? Why can't they be designed for a longer lifespan?
The reality is metal wears out. Equipment wears out. Steel's not designed to last forever. Pipes, valves, pumps, circulating systems, and while these systems can be refreshed and maintained, which they are, there is also the fact that technology improves. And there comes a point at which the aging facility is no longer economic. Even though it's been depreciated, it requires so much rejuvenation, so much recapitalization of an old facility, still using old technology, that it just makes more economic sense to replace it with advances in technology and with new equipment and new metal, basically.
One of the questions about the hydrogen economy, it was My understanding is that most of the hydrogen would come from natural gas. Do we have enough natural gas to develop a hydrogen economy?
In the first instance, yes, there's enough natural gas, enough methane to produce all the hydrogen we would need for the foreseeable future, because the fleet of hydrogen vehicles would start small. If you look at this over a 10, 20, 30-year period, you begin with methane, then you progress perhaps to coal, where you could make hydrogen from coal, but ultimately your end game is to use water to make hydrogen. By breaking down water through electrolysis of water, you have an unending supply of future hydrogen. And if you use renewable energy or carbon-free energy like nuclear, or carbon-light energy like natural gas to make the electricity to electrolyze the water, then you've got a pretty virtual, environmentally sound system, because the only waste of the hydrogen fuel cell is water vapor. And so you're putting that water back into the atmosphere.
What can we do? The thought that came to my mind was, well, withhold your campaign donations on all sides today for the federal election. Did you have that thought?
I don't express it because I don't want to tell people what to do, but I do, in fact, currently withhold my campaign contributions, because I don't think politicians are deserving of a contribution without solving problems. I don't see them solving problems. I see them perpetuating problems. And if they want my support, they're going to have to do something to earn the money. It doesn't just come instantly. And so, and with respect to the future of energy, both Republican and Democratic candidates have really failed for a long time. And so I think it's really an issue for voters to consider about insisting upon solutions.